Hey everyone, Mr. Scott here. I hope you're all having a great day. We're actually going to do experiment with some water, right? We're going to see if items float or sink. I'm going to test your knowledge. We're going to make a lot of predictions here, and I'm going to see if you're right. All right, are y'all ready? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill my bucket or my bowl up with water. Whoa, all this water. Water, right? Now, wait, I think I need some more, right? Because I want to fill it all the way up to the top. Okay, so I got more water. Let's see if this will go up to the top. Hopefully. All right. There we go. So I filled my bowl up with water. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some objects in there. And I'm going to predict if the object is going to float or sink. Okay? Now, how about you tell me if this rubber block will float or sink? What do you think? Do you think if I put in there, it'll go all the way down to the bottom, which means it will sink, or it will stay afloat up at the top? What do you think? Now, it is big, right? So let's see. I think it's going to sink because it's big, and bigger things sink, right? And smaller things float, right? So let's see. Huh? No, wait a minute. Bigger, that's not always the case, right? Because what it's doing? It floats. Wow, it's floating. Did you think it was going to float? What did you think? Okay, for my next object, I got just a little string. And I'm going to put it in there. And can you predict if it's going to float or sink? What do you think? This is tough. I think it's going to float. Let's see. What do you think? Let's try it. Oh no, it actually sank. I was wrong again. Wow. Why do you think the string sank? Well, uh if we're going to talk about floating and singing, we have to talk about density. So let's get that out of there. Now, density is when objects, or what do you call molecules, are jammed together, and others are loosely packed together. So when you have a higher density, it's gonna sink. Like this thing, it actually had a higher density. And then when you have the more loosely packed objects that aren't as dense, then that means that it'll float like the block that we saw here. So let's try another object. What do you call this? This is a what? A pencil. Yes, it's a pencil. Now, do you think the pencil is going to float, or you think it's going to sink? Remember, if it has a higher density, that means it's going to sink. If it's loosely packed together, that means it's going to float. So I think this has a higher density. I think it's going to sink. What do you think? Let's see. Whoa, yes. It sank. Oh boy, who had that right? Okay, for my next one, I have like a log here. Yes. Do you think it's going to float, or do you think it's going to sink? I don't know. Maybe. I let you guess. Tell me if you got it right. Whoa, it sank. It sank, or is it, or did it float? It float. Yes, it's floating. It's still hanging in there. It didn't go all the way down, right? Yes, yes, yes. Why do you think it float? Why did you think that the log float? Because it has a what? It has a lower density. Is not loosely is more loosely packed. That is not as dense. So that's why it's floating. Next we have a cap. Do you think it's gonna what? Float, or do you think it's gonna sink? That log, it actually was floating. So when I look at this, I try to look inside it. I think it's gonna sink. Let's see. What do you think? It didn't sink. It's floating. It's floating. Oh my, it's floating. Why do you think why do you think the bottle cap was floating? It's floating because it's more loosely packed. It's not as dense. That's why it's floating. We have scissors. This is tough. Do you think it's gonna float or sink? Do you think these scissors are float or is gonna sink? Do you think it has a higher density, meaning that it's gonna sink, or you think is more loosely packed and is not as dense and is gonna float? It's all about the density, right? Let's see. I think it's gonna float. Let's see. Oh no! It sank. It's all the way to the bottom. It's not floating like the other objects, right? It's not floating like this bottle cap. Like it is. It's sank. It's all the way at the bottom. It's not floating. Who got that right? Now I have this plastic. It's just a little plastic piece. Do you think it's going to float or sink? It's all about density, right? Tell me your answer. What do you think? Now remember, if the object has a higher density than the fluid it is in, it's going to sink. If it has a lower density, it will float. So let's see. I think it has a lower density, and I think it will float. Yes, yes, yes. It's floating. It's not going down. It's not sinking. It doesn't have a higher density. It has a lower density. Wow. Yes, I got that right. Next, I have a coin, right? Now, do you think this coin, copper coin, is a penny? Yeah, it's a nice penny. Shiny penny, right? Do you think it's going to float or do you think it's going to sink? What do you think? I think it's going to sink. I think it's going to sink. I think it has a higher density than the fluid that is in. Is going to be in. Let's see. Whoa, yes, 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 yes. It didn't float. It sank. It's all the way down to the bottom. Let's leave that in there. And let's go on to our next. We have this sponge, right? And a sponge actually absorbs water. So I think, you tell me, do you think it's going to float? Do you think it has a higher density or does it have a lower density? It absorbs the water. So I think it's going to float. Let's see. Yes, it is floating. Oh boy. Yes, yes, yes. It's not like the penny that it it sank. It's floating. Good job, everybody. Have a wonderful day.